As we've been talking about all week, the Labor Party's tying itself in knots over coal and net zero, repeating the same mistakes, really, that they made under Bill Shortland in 2019. Labor's policy will force the nation's 215 highest emitters to reduce their CO2 or buy expensive carbon credits. This safeguards mechanism, as it's called, is already in place with caps on emissions for the major companies. But Labor has revealed it plans to lower the caps, forcing companies to either reduce their emissions or buy these carbon credits, working just like a carbon tax. And don't take my word for it for that description. Here's Labor's Joel Fitzgibbon.
There's a thing called a safeguards mechanism, which is a carbon constraint or a carbon tax, whatever you might like to call it.
There you go. Joel Fitzgibbon, former Labor minister, he says it's fair enough to call it a carbon tax, so I think we will. But another Labor MP, Pat Conroy, also from the New South Wales Hunter Valley area, coal country of course, he's looking to shore up his seat, which is on a slim margin, 4.5%, and he told the Financial Review that not a single Australian coal mine will be impacted by our safeguards mechanism because their international competitors don't face the requirement to reduce emissions. But then just a couple of days later, Chris Bowen, who would be the Minister for Climate Change if Labor wins, well, he contradicted Conroy.
So yes, we will require the 215 emitters to reduce their emissions to net zero by 2050. So does that is what the Business Council has asked to happen.
Does it include coal mines?
Yes.
So that's pretty clear. That's what they're going to do. They're going to force coal mines to buy carbon credits, and as you heard from Joel Fitzgibbon, that's a carbon tax. But it's led to plenty of confusion at the top, with Labor's Deputy Richard Marles confused about his own party's policy.
Will they have to buy carbon credits if they go beyond their baseline? And what will those carbon credits cost?
Well, the question has been answered. The question has been answered.
You can answer it again. Will they have to buy carbon credits if they go beyond their baseline?
Well, the question has been answered.
There you go. There you have it. Depending on who you believe within the Labor Party, coal mines will either have to add to their costs by buying carbon credits to make up for their emissions, or they'll be exempt and carry on blamelessly. We've asked Pat Conroy for an interview, but he's declined. So let's bring in Nell McGill, who's the Liberals' candidate for Shortland. Nell, thanks for joining us. Must be so many people in your seat who rely on coal and the associated industries for their jobs. Are they worried about this carbon tax by stealth?
They absolutely are. It's not just the coal mines, the people who are working in coal-fired power stations, but also the coal supply chain. So you have people who supply and then fix the automotive machinery that you get in the coal mines, people who supply the uniforms. That supply chain is huge and it affects so many workers across the Hunter region.
Yeah, but you've got Chris Bowen saying that they will be forced down to net zero, but your opponent, Pat Conroy, is saying they won't be affected. I don't think that's the message Labor's Greens inner city voters are wanting to hear, that Labor will give an exemption to coal mines. So it's hard to know which will actually happen.
Absolutely, and the uncertainty is the biggest issue. So we have the people across the electorate. I've been walking around the electorate talking to people, and the one thing they want is certainty. And the fact that the two people who we assume wrote this policy don't even know, they can't agree on what it says, that is just unbearable uncertainty for the people across Shortland.
Well, we just heard Pauline Hanson saying she wants to help the coalition win some seats. This might be one of them. She says she's going to help out in Hunter. Could she help out in Shortland? Is there a One Nation candidate running, and could you benefit from those preferences?
Yeah, there is a One Nation candidate running. I know that Labor has preferenced him last. I don't know about how the preferences work. That's above my pay grade.
Well, you'd be mad to preference them last.
I agree with that.
So you'd be happy to win that seat from Labor with the help of One Nation preferences?
I just want to win the seat, Chris. I want to be the positive representative for Shortland, and I want to go forward with a certain policy that people of Shortland need.
Do you think the government is committed, the coalition that is committed to net zero by 2050, come rain, hail or shine?
I do. And I'm really proud of the policy that we have on net zero, because we are trusting that goal to the people of Australia. And I can give you some examples in the Hunter where we are going to make that happen. We're going to make net zero happen. We have the University of Newcastle, which is led by the amazing Professor Zielinski. We have businesses like 3ME Technology in Cardiff, which is making lithium-ion batteries for a whole range of uses, including in mining. So I have real confidence that we are going to get there.
It's going to be led by technology technology. Matt Canavan, of course, former Resources Minister, he says net zero is virtually dead because the whole world is now focused on energy security, especially because of what's happened in Ukraine and Russian gas being cut off or holding Europe to ransom. He's right, isn't he? We have to look at energy security ahead of getting to net zero. Therefore, he's saying we probably won't get there.
I know that Senator Canavan has never been a fan of our net zero by 2050 policy, but we're not planning on some crazy diversion from what we're doing. We are relying on innovation, and I think we're going to get there while still maintaining our energy security. I have great confidence in what people across Australia are doing in the innovation space in this regard.
Well, unusually, a seat that's in a 4.5% margin for Labor at the moment, it could well be in play come May the 21st. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
That was Nell McGill, who's the Liberal candidate there in Shortland. The member, Pat Conroy, Labor frontbencher. Open invitation for him to have a chat about these same issues.